Hello. I did not plan on doing a recording today, but since the minute I woke up this morning, usually when I wake up, I check in with myself, how I'm feeling. I allow myself to breathe and rest, and I try not to get the mind going too quick. And it's helpful. And then I'm able to really authentically tap into what I'm feeling and how I want my day to go, what's coming up for me, the things that I do need to do, the things that I could, maybe wait for. Anyway, so that's typically what my morning in bed, I give myself a moment. But this morning, it was like just flooded with head chatter. And I know when it's my head chatter and my own stuff that I'm dealing with, I know the difference. Because typically what that will look like is when I am sitting in a space of quiet, in the morning. And when I do give myself some time, then it's just a different type of thinking. It's a different type of knowing. And sorry, I'm in my car now because I had to get on this. I had to record. I had to get on and share here. It just wasn't stopping. But anyways, so I had to pull over and share because I was so distracted. And so when it's coming from my higher self and my guidance per se, it is loud. It's loud. It's a different type of thinking. I know it's yes, it's in my head. Yes, they used to put people away for this back in the day. Like, you are crazy. So, but there's a lot of energies going right now. There's always energies, but right now it's quite thick, and I'm sensitive to it. So, what came flooding in for me this morning, and I'm still stuck on, relationships. I did my episode 2 yesterday for Tough Talks. That was great. Good feedback there, but it wasn't finished. So obviously somebody needs to hear this. And as I was going through and I let it when I'm when I'm rapid thinking like that, that's not my shitty committee. Okay. That's my guidance. That's my intuition. I can differentiate what is the thinking that is aligned with my purpose, the thinking that comes in for me, that resonates and aligns with the service that I do, okay, in comparison to the shit that's going up in my own personal life. And even though, yes, obviously, there's you can correlate it, there's some similarities there and such, but it's not my shit, okay? And I let it come in, I allow it, I sit with it. And then typically what I would do is I would journal about it. I would write about it. I would, I have a Google Docs. It's just full of notes when I do get these downloads per se. And this morning, again, what was coming in for me was relationships. And ultimately, kind of piggybacking on yesterday's talk, and that's why it came in so strong for me, because obviously somebody needs to hear this, was when I spoke of, and I definitely recommend if you are watching this and you're kind of not understanding what I'm saying here, check yesterday's episode out. But really what that was being able to differentiate when you are done in a relationship and when you are not. When you are in a position that you're ready to leave your spouse. And I gave the example that if we can sit in a place of neutrality All right. And we're no longer triggered and want to change our significant others. We want them, we're no longer getting agitated by the way they respond to things, the way they do things, the way they, we're in a place of neutrality and saying we can't change them. Okay. And it's not good. It's not bad. I know we judge because we're human. But if we can then work on when we are triggered, when we are agitated, when there is a warning sign that you are affected, being able to sit with that and say, okay, what's going on for me here? So definitely check it. I'm not going to get too much into it, but what came in for me this morning and all morning really was when you don't have to wait until you get to a place of neutrality if you are ready to leave the relationship. Because when you are triggered, that is a belief system that comes from and stems from a belief. It's a kind of a byproduct when you're triggered on something. It's kind of a byproduct of what our experiences have been growing up and such, trauma, what have you. So that trigger is a response. And when I say, when we can get to a place with our significant others and we can sit in neutrality and really sit and say, I am no longer going to try to change him. I'm no longer going to sit in this resistance. I send him or her love but I'm ready to close the chapter on this. And then you make the choice. That's when typically you don't, because you're aware of what your triggers are, you're aware of where it's coming from. You can pinpoint, okay, I was triggered here because I can link it to, and it's a byproduct of what I went through over here. All right. You don't have to wait until you get there. That's just a tip. Okay. That's just a recommendation here. So you don't have to wait until you get to a place that you are neutral. It's just when you are in resistance and you're trying to change somebody, that is, you're going on the hamster wheel there. Okay. And if you can sit with yourself, be neutral, no longer being in resentment, no longer being in hate, no longer being in guilt or shame or trying to change them and saying, all right, I'm changing me though. I'm choosing the relationships that I want to be in. And this isn't one of them anymore. Okay. And that's not easy, but you don't have to wait until that happens. By all means, you can be aware. Yes, I'm being triggered by my partner. We're not in a good place here. I am agitated. There's been years of what have you. I mean, I can go a list of things here. You can absolutely close her and shut her down, even though you can't remain neutral. Contrast and feeling these feelings is part of it. Okay. But the awareness, and this is what was coming in for me today, and I had to share, being aware that, yes, I'm ending this relationship. Okay. And this is an awareness of what I do, how I respond, what my beliefs are around these scenarios are. And when I do take them into my next relationship, I'm going to be aware of that. But I'm done with this one. I'm done working on myself with this one. And that's when there's no other option. So that's a little tip as well, is when you're ready to shut down the relationship, even though it's scary and uncomfortable, when there's no other option for you to shut down the relationship because you're just drained, you're shifted, you want to shift, that is a tip in itself. There's nothing that can keep you there anymore. All right. It doesn't mean you're going to be neutral about it. Okay. So I just wanted that was sitting up for me, is allow people to, get on and share, and allow people to understand, help people understand that, because somebody needs to hear it, that you don't need to be all love and light and then I'm ready to leave because this was my, soul contract and this is who I pick, blah, blah, blah. Okay, great. If you are ready and if you are done, we're always working on shit. Okay. We're always working on our traumas. We're always working on our beliefs, our false beliefs, our identities. We're always working and evolving. That will never, ever, ever stop. Ever stop. Okay. And so, but when it's the awareness piece that I am still working on this, I am still working on trust. I am still working on letting go of having to control. I'm still A, B, and C. And then recognizing where the boundaries, where you start and they begin, and where they begin and you stop. Because it's a back and forth, right? But always tapping into yourself, of course. I feel better. I actually feel better. Even driving here at a very busy morning, with clients and such. And holy moly, this was just, it kept on coming in saying, get on and share that when you are in a place that you are ready to leave the relationship, even though you are triggered, that's your choice. You have that choice to make. But the difference is, are you avoiding and running from what is coming up for you? Because that's going to come up for you in other relationships. That's going to come up for you in other relationships. So if you're avoiding and running, and I explained this yesterday, if you're avoiding and running and saying, like, I just don't, this is too hard, that's something to look at, but if you're done, you're done. You don't owe him or her, and sure, they're going to want reasons why, but I don't think you probably get some good evidence based on what's been going on the last few years. So, but if you're avoiding because it hurts too much, that's something to look at for you. That's a trigger, but you can do that. You can do that without being in a committed relationship. If you're ready to leave the relationship, that's energy in itself that opens up. That was planned. If something goes into your gut and into your intuition, into your whole being to say, end it now, that's your conscious compass. That's your conscious compass. It's scary. It's not easy, but that's your conscious compass going on, tapping on that. It's such a strong feeling based on all the evidence I'm sure you have, but that you can no longer go on in this relationship. Okay. Not necessarily mean that you're going to be neutral in it. It was just a good example of how we help stop the patterns of going from one relationship to the next, because that came in with a client for me yesterday morning. Was she would just bring in the same scenarios, same behaviors, same. So it's because we were running from them. And then we weren't being aware of what the trigger was and where it came from. Okay. But don't get it twisted in regards to, well, if I'm not neutral, I've got to follow my soul's evolution. And no, that's not it at all. All right. So you follow your biggest guidance is going to be internally. And if you ask for that guidance, if you say, hey, give me a sign, show me, I'd like to, and no matter what you believe in, energy is energy. I've never been a religious person. I've just been a very intuitive and sensitive person. And now it's just like skyrocketed. So I'm probably going to be doing these more often as well. Because what came in for me too, as they kind of giggle in the background, was when I do get these very strong thoughts and impulses to share, instead of journaling, come on and share with your audience, with the collective, because somebody's going to need to hear it. So, and the thoughts have been strong, especially within the last couple weeks. And it doesn't, they're so strong that I'm able to be in sessions with my clients and stuff. I do turn it off, but there's a theme. Even with my sessions this morning, there was a theme. There's a theme, and that's relationships right now. And it's a great conversation to have. So I'm grateful for it. But once these thoughts come on, getting them out, I'm going to commit to, my co-creator here that says get on and record and share instead of journaling so much. So yeah, because this is what you need to hear. This is not where I resonate right now. There was a time that I absolutely resonated with this, in regards to relationships and significant others, but, that's a whole other conversation to have, and it's going to come up eventually. So, but somebody needed to hear today. Sending you so much love, so much light. I had to pull over and just get it done. And I can already physically feel myself lighter. And now I can get on with my day. And I hope you do as well. Have a beautiful day. Bye for now.